this is the shell for the TRX, or the new shell for the TRX4. I say the new one, I haven't actually used the new one that it came with yet, but I want a white shell and it came with a grey shell, so I'm going to paint this one white so that I get what I want. As you can probably see, all the holes you need are already pre-drilled, so you've got the holes for the lights, the holes for the grille, all the holes here for the wheel arches pre-drilled, for the mirrors, for the roll cage here, which you don't need to drill any holes if you don't want to. You also get here a sticker kit, which is the number plates, the lights, handles, all the other bits and pieces you might want on the sticker sheet there, but I don't know how many of those I'll actually be using, we'll have to see. And this here, which you probably can't quite see, is all the window masking, so you can mask up all the windows. Make sure you put the masks on before you scratch up the inside of the body, because otherwise you're going to scratch up the windows and you're going to be very disappointed. Find the edge of the mask, and I'm going to use a little knife here just to encourage it to come up. And we peel up the edge of the mask, and then hopefully peel that off carefully. And there's the first window mask. Generally it's a good idea to do them sort of not stick them down too hard to begin with. So that looks about right. Try and work any air out of there. And the main thing is to make sure that it's nice and tight around the edge there, because we don't want any paint bleed. I'm just kind of using the light to line these up. This looks a little bit too big to me. You see here where top of the window is where my finger is, but the mask seems to stick up a good 2 or 3 mil. Disappointed, I have to say. It's they stick very well, there's no doubt about that. I'm going to use this straight edge here. I'm going to run that along the back of the window. I'm just going to sort of feel with my fingers as to where it should be. Just carefully, nice and gently. Not too much pressure with the knife. It's a bit better. So give that a little bit of shape again. I am happier with the way that that sits along the top of the window now. I wasn't happy with it before. So I think I'll do the same with the other side. I want a little bit of rust streaking and various other things a bit more sort of true to my real Landy before I paint it, so get on and prep it for that. I think it's going to get covered in mud, it's going to get used and abused and scratched and all the rest of it, but you know, when you're starting with a new shell and you're doing it because it's going to be the way you want it, it has to be the way you want it, and that's the way I want it. A little bit of grey in there. Ruined it, you could say, but you know, it's I'm sure a lot of people out there are going to say it looks horrible, but you know, that's up to you. It's my choice, so I've decided to do this. I'm going to wipe down the inside of the shell with that. That won't actually touch any of the enamel I've put on there. That'll leave that alone, and then blast it with this. It's specially formulated for spraying your polycarbonate body shell, so splatter it on thin first and then build it up in small coats, because if you put it on too thick it's just going to all run off, and the other thing is you don't get those big clags of paint that will just come off as a big slab. Health and safety first. I've got an extractor in this room so it will pull out most of the fumes, but I'm still going to be wearing this mask. That's still a very transparent coat, very thin. So a dust coat like that, give it a couple of minutes to go off a bit, and then give it another coat, and then give it a couple of minutes and give it another coat, and build it up like that. It should last a lot longer, and it shouldn't peel off, and it shouldn't run when you put it on, so you win every way. The last bit of the paint is going to be this black that I'm going to put inside. As I say, that's just so that it's not quite so see-through, because white doesn't give very much cover until you put loads and loads on, and I don't need to put loads on, so I'm going to put some black in there next. So mask back on and start spraying. Next thing, unpackage this, take it to bits. Now I'm not particularly looking forward to this because it means I've got to undo all of these tiny little Allen keys here, all of those little tiny Allen keys there, same on the other side, all of these little Allen keys inside here, and take all of this framework out so that I can transfer all these bits onto my newly painted shell. The Allen keys luckily are in the packet, so if you're doing this yourself and you don't have the Allen keys, don't you worry, because they're there in the packet. Well, I didn't enjoy that very much. A lot of tiny little Allen keys. Some of them are just moulded plastic fake Allen keys, which is kind of handy. I'm going to take these arches now and give them a coat of paint and put them to one side to dry because I need them to be white. It's probably going to peel off quite easily because these are extremely flexible, but yeah, doesn't really matter to me. They're going to start off white and then they'll probably all end up getting chipped back to black again, but hell, why not? There we go. That one is now ready to go back to Kev. Yeah, I've just realised I've got to paint these white as well because these are white on my landies, so give them a little wipe down and I'll give them a coat of paint. I'm going to ruin this grill with some green paint because that's kind of what my landies got on it. Just dosh that on. That should do it. Nice and chipped and nasty looking. And also I think a little touch on these wing mirrors because they have got a little sticker in there, but got a little bit of this foil tape here. We'll have a bit of that in there I think instead. So here's my freshly painted shell surrounded by all the bits that I need to stick on it, but the first thing I've got to do is remove the protective film that is on the shell. So I guess the next thing is the window masking needs to come out. Window masking off, rusty streaks that I left on there from before, and the next thing really is just to start putting it back together again. Got a set of these, don't really know anything about them. Kev sorted these out for me. There you see, it's a lot more like a standard Land Rover wheel, ever so slightly smaller than the TRX wheel, but it will go on. I know that because I've already put some on, and on my Land Rover they are painted green, so I've painted these green. So you can see there's a little bit of a size difference there between this one and that one. I don't know what the difference is. Marginal really, not anything worth worrying about, but these are a bit cheaper and they've got a plastic centre in them and they're a little bit thinner, so we'll see how they go, but these kind of look a little bit more like my Land Rover, so